All right, I made a mistake and I should apologize. So, yesterday, since it's past midnight, I got a message from Calm saying, "Hey bro, when do you want to work out then?" I think I have this constant habit, bad habit of making having the worst ideas in my head, having the worst situations, assuming the worst of the situation before it's even happened or while it's happening. And this is what happened with yesterday, where I messaged somebody that I thought could be my friend or I could get closer to, Kelm, and I didn't get a response immediately. So I assumed the worst. I assumed he just hates me or he never wants to hang out, things like that. And it sounds a bit irrational, but if you think about it, it's not actually that irrational. Things like that happen very often. And I'm used to that. I've seen it happen. It's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you. So it's kind of a good thing that I set my expectations low and I already assumed there was nothing from it. I had this glimpse of hope that maybe he'll message me back tomorrow and we can plan something from there. Maybe I jumped the gun and I assumed that he was just ignoring me. This happened actually with the fragrance video too. I assumed that the girl just was not gonna text me ever. And lo and behold, the next day she texted me. So it does happen where it's just the situation isn't as bad as you think it is. The I think the camera got a little out of focus. All right, camera's in focus now. What was right? So I was saying the situation was worse than I thought it was, but you know, sometimes it works out. Not always though. For example, the girl, yes, she messaged me back for that situation, but then later on I was thinking I'm I ended up sending one of the texts which was like, "Let me know if you want to hang out." And haven't received the text back. Now, maybe I'm jumping the gun even here and thinking that it's already over when she's still just really busy and she might find time later on. I could think like that, but I think it's better to have no expectation, low expectation even, and assume there's nothing will come of it. Because best case scenario, she does message me back and I get surprised and excited. But worst case scenario, I'm expecting it the entire time, like months later, and I never get it. Or like you see, if it's not ever gonna happen, it's dangerous to hope that it will. And hope, it's so weird because hope everyone assumes is a good thing. You never hear it in a negative light generally, But to me, it doesn't. I think hope can be cruel. You see this in movies too, where, like, I think the best example would be Unbroken, the movie where he was, okay, maybe this isn't a good example, but he was a prisoner of war and he was tortured endlessly. And he had the hope that he was going to be rescued. And it never came. Never came. Still had the hope. Still didn't come. And then finally, they actually did save him and so on. But what if they actually never came? Because there were people that were prisoners of war. There are people that are prisoners of war where the rescue never came. And I think it's cruel as those who punish them, the people who are administrators of those camps, they give you that glimpse of hope. For example, in the Nazi concentration camps, there, right before the Jews were going to be gassed, you wouldn't hear panic. They I was reading this book. This is not firsthand experience, but I'm saying this from what I've read. The guy describes that these people lined up in orderly fashion. They didn't make any outbursts. They didn't make any challenge to the authority. Why? Well, it was because they still had this glimpse of hope. They still thought, well, the gas is gonna fail. We're gonna be rescued somehow. And then they walk in, and then they seal the door, and as soon as the gas comes out, you hear screaming. Just having that hope is, I don't know. It can be helpful, yes, but a lot of the times it can be cruel. Kind of derailed from my point, or what I was even going to talk about. So Kel messaged me back. Hopefully we're going to work out today, I guess, since it's past midnight. Yeah, not low expectation. Might not happen, but hopefully it will happen. Yeah, getting to the main point now. Getting to, I guess, what I wanted to talk about. This is completely unrelated what I was just talking about for the past few minutes. So, yesterday I was talking about um past friends, right? So like old friends, and I wanted to talk about birthday parties actually. Birthday parties, how they were in the past, and just talk a little bit about it. But I never got to it because I already reached 20 minutes and didn't want to keep on going. So I guess I'll start from there. It's weird because there's no set age that you stop having birthday parties. They could keep on going indefinitely. What I mean by that is birthday party celebrations. Like, of course you still have the birthday party, hopefully with your family, but with your friends, once you reach like 17, 18, for guys at least, you don't really see much of birthday celebrations, unless it's really relaxed and it's like, oh, we'll go out for a bit. In the university atmosphere, it'd be like, well, let's hang out at my house and we'll do something. But it's not like we're gonna get you a cake and and here are your presents, and now go play. Back how it was in, I don't know, when you were 6, when you were 10 even. And now, at least for me, I don't have those celebrations anymore. I would say I miss them a little bit, but you you can't have them anymore. You're at the age where it's just not possible. It just wouldn't make sense. Like you'd have to be coddled basically is what I'm thinking because your parents would have to organize everything. They'd have to invite all your friends, and then you'd have like the little RSVP card handed out at school. But there's none of that anymore. It's not a bad thing though. It's just it's sad growing up. It's sad that you're never going to be able to experience that again. And I had a lot of fun with those birthday parties for sure, and I'll have new fun with the different ways that I celebrate my birthday now. What is, I would say, a little depressing is that there's almost I'm my age. It gets harder. It gets a little awkward celebrating birthdays. So yes, you could in the as I said, university atmosphere, come over to my house and we'll do whatever. But even then, the main focus is it's not your birthday. It's just another day. And you're celebrating, you're just hanging out with a friend. Or you're doing X. You're going to dinner. Things like that. If you were to pose it as a birthday celebration, it'd just be awkward. It's I don't know, people just don't do it at my age. Guys just don't do it at my age. Girls, a little different. 18, they still celebrate for sure. 19, 20, I think, yeah. You see Instagram posts of 21 too. So I'm sure up until like 23, maybe 25, you'll see a cutoff. Yeah, once my friend was talking about how once a girl reaches 29, she's not going to celebrate her birthday after that because she hates being like after past 20, past her prime. Like yeah, that I don't know, it just feel patronizing celebrating your birthday at that point. It'd just be sarcastic. Yeah, I can remember my 6th birthday party though. Or not even my birthday party. I can't remember that. But I can remember turning 6. I remember the day I remember waking up. I was so excited. I was so happy because it was to me it was one of that those cutoffs, those age restrictions where it's like once you're 6, you can do this. Once you're 6, you can do that. And then I finally reached 6, so I could do so many things. It was like it was actually in my mind even better than turning 13, I think. Because once you're 13, you're a teen, so then you're considered all these things and more mature, of course. And included, there was this cruise that I went on, and there was a separate section for teens and tweens. So I think tweens is, I think like 10 to 12 inclusive. And so if you're older than that, then you're in a different section. So I was in the tweens group while my brother was in the teens group. And it was a little annoying because I can't hang out with my brother because I'm just 1 year under the threshold, or however many years it was. I think we ended up hanging out together anyways. He snuck me in, and it wasn't a big deal. But restrictions like that get pretty annoying, especially when you're younger and you want to hang out with older people, the people that you look up to. And for me, it was my older brother. So, yeah, once I turned 6, I was ecstatic and I had a lot of fun. I mean, I, I had a lot of enjoyment from turning 6. Just the event of turning 6, not even anything associated with it really. No no actual event, just the idea that I was now 6 years old. Not too sure I really wanted to talk about this, but I think I'll talk about it anyways. And I think this is the last point. This should be the last point on my birthday party list notes. So my last birthday party, I was really down. I think I mentioned this yesterday in the previous video, how I was just isolated and there was nobody to talk to. Well, none of my friends were in town. I didn't know anybody who was in town. I was trying to make friends, and I wasn't really successful. I didn't really go outside other than working out. I didn't. Meeting people would be only meeting people in the gym. That's the only other than my parents and my family. Those were the only other people that I'd interact with. And so on my rest day, I was just miserable because I would just be stuck at home, and all I've who everyone who I would have talked to would be just my family. And even then sometimes my family would be busy and doing their own thing, so I'd just be completely isolated that day. That made it really bad, and so I just had a really low mood, and I didn't for my birthday. I didn't I didn't celebrate it. Not because I didn't want to, but there was nothing that I could do to celebrate it. And I didn't even I didn't I think I had such a low mood that I didn't feel that there would be anything that would bring me enjoyment. There would be no unique experience that I could do, that I could partake in, that would give me enjoyment. Wow. Yeah, so I didn't celebrate my birthday. I don't regret it though, because there's nothing that I really could have done. And that's just how life is sometimes. I don't think you need an excuse of having a birthday to hang out with your friends or do something special. If I want to do something special, I'll do it now. I'll plan it 2 days from now and I'll end up doing it. I do see the value in celebrating your birthday though. It's your day, it's your special day, and you're the king for that day. That was kind of a miserable note to end on, so I'll end on something more cheerful, I guess. I was looking to get a Bally song. Really want to get a Bally song, so I'm gonna show what I was looking at right now. Haha. So I was looking at getting either the Canyon, and I think the brand is Nabalis. So I was looking at getting the Canyon or the Volp. So the Canyon seems to be a bit heavier from the research that I've done. Other than that, it's metal. It has the the bushings, which is generally a pivot design that you want since it's more smooth, from what I understand, rather than bearings. So bushings, so that's good. But the Volp also has bushings, basically the same thing, a little lighter. Other than that, I don't really know the difference. I assume the Volp is better because it's more expensive. I think Canadian, so this is in USD. Canadian, the Canyon ends up being $55 and the Volp ends up being 72 Canadian. So $20 price difference. Yeah. Is it justifiable? I don't know. I think I'll just go for the Volp anyways though. Seems pretty cool. Seems like a good beginner Bally song to get. I forgot to mention the blades for both of these are dull because in Canada you can't have sharp blades on specifically on Bally songs. And from what my friend told me, it's because not not because you can injure others, but because you're likely to injure yourself. But in the US you can have sharp edges and nobody cares. So I think I'll sleep on this decision, my two options, and in the morning, hopefully I'll have a good idea. Maybe I'll order them tomorrow. Hopefully I'll order them tomorrow. I think that's all I wanted to talk about, really. Just to get my mind off of the depressing